Militarizing America. Donald Trump and his Republican accomplices in Congress are spending nearly $200 billion to go after undocumented immigrants. Just as the share of Americans saying immigration is a good thing for this country has jumped to record highs, including among Republicans. Welcome to the No Spin Zone. Drafts Grievances starts right now. You might have thought Donald Trump was done with the border wall. You might have thought the wall was a punchline, an empty promise, a 2016 campaign stunt that finally fizzled out. But now the wall is back, and this time Trump actually has the money to build it. Buried inside the new law that Trump just signed, with near unanimous support from House and Senate Republicans, is $46 billion earmarked for new border wall construction. New miles of wall, concrete, and surveillance towers across the U.S.-Mexico border. The check has been written. The bulldozers are coming. That $46 billion figure is staggering. It's more than 5 times the budget of the Federal Bureau of Prisons. It's 13 times what ICE currently spends each year on immigration detention. The Trump administration now has the authority and funding to build the wall they never could the first time around. And the wall is just one piece of the most expensive immigration crackdown in American history. The law sets aside $170 billion over the next 4 years for deportations, detentions, surveillance, AI border systems, and domestic enforcement. To put that in perspective, Germany's defense budget, the country, their defense budget is $109 billion a year. Russia, in an active war, spends around $150 billion. This plan, $170 billion for immigration enforcement inside the United States. Trump's anti-immigration machine is now more heavily funded than nearly any military on Earth, except those of the US and China. And much of that funding is going to one agency, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. ICE's annual budget is exploding from $8 billion to $28 billion a year. That makes ICE larger than the FBI, which runs at about $11 billion a year. It makes ICE 10 times larger than the Drug Enforcement Agency, which gets $2.6 billion a year. Put those together, and ICE is now the largest federal law enforcement agency in America, bigger than the agencies that track drug cartels and fight terrorism. Back in 2003, ICE's budget was just $3 billion. This isn't just a boost, it's a transformation into a national security apparatus with domestic policing powers. That $28 billion includes funding to hire 10,000 new deportation officers, bringing the total force to over 16,000, larger than the FBI's entire special agent workforce. ICE agents won't just be stationed at the border. They will be embedded in cities like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles, and across the U.S., hunting down undocumented people, most of whom have lived here for years, even decades. They are offering a $10,000 signing bonus for new agents. They have dedicated $858 million just to hiring, retention, and recruitment. Another $600 million is going to marketing and onboarding programs to attract new border agents. Even with all of that, Trump aides admit it may take months to build out the detention infrastructure, hire and train officers, and scale up enforcement to meet their goal of deporting 1 million undocumented immigrants this year, and millions more before 2029. They are in such a rush, in fact, that experts are warning this hiring surge will have to cut corners. And Trump has already taken steps to dismantle internal watchdogs at the Department of Homeland Security, the agency that oversees ICE. That means even less accountability for a force that is suddenly flush with money, political power, and pressure to hit daily arrest quotas. And it gets worse. The new law includes $45 billion to expand immigrant detention capacity, enough for ICE to scale up from around 41,000 beds to 100,000. That's more than double the current capacity. It's more detention infrastructure than any president has ever built. And private prison companies are already licking their chops. The two biggest players, GEO Group and Core Civic, have already landed new or expanded federal contracts this year. They have proposed repurposing 14 additional shuttered prisons across the country, including in California, Colorado, North Carolina, and Oklahoma. They have even accepted job applications in advance of contracts awarded. They know what's coming. GEO and Core Civic each donated $500,000 to Trump's inaugural committee, and now they are set to profit billions in taxpayer dollars to cage immigrants. The scale of this detention surge is unprecedented. A review of federal data shows Congress just approved more money for immigration detention over the next 4 years than was spent by the Obama, Biden, and first Trump administration combined. And it's not even targeting criminals. The latest ICE statistics show that as of June 29th, there were 57,800 people in ICE custody. 72% had no criminal convictions. That includes 27,000 people with no charges at all. Just people picked up in raids, traffic stops, or workplace sweeps. The Trump White House has reportedly given ICE a hard quota, 3,000 arrests per day, up from 650 a day in the early months of the year. In May, ICE arrests jumped 30%. In June, they rose another 28%. That's not law enforcement. That's a production line enforcement. The Government Accountability Office report already found that between 2015 and 2020, ICE wrongfully arrested nearly 700 U.S. citizens and detained over 100 of them. Now, imagine that system on steroids, pressured to hit arrest numbers with fewer background checks and weaker oversight. And again, why is this happening now? Because this is not a response to a crisis. Border crossings are way down. In June, Border Patrol reported just over 6,000 arrests at the southern border, the lowest monthly total since the 1960s. One day in late June saw just 137 arrests, the lowest daily number in over 25 years. Under Biden, illegal crossings peaked at nearly 250,000 in December of 2023. But after new asylum restrictions went into place, those numbers dropped to under 50,000 by the end of his term and are now the lowest they've ever been. So, if crossings are down, why is Trump building a wall and militarizing ICE? To answer that, let's look at where the American people actually stand on immigration. According to a brand new Gallup poll, 79% of Americans now say immigration is a good thing for the country, the highest share in nearly 25 years. Only 17% say immigration is a bad thing, a record low, and the shift spans political lines. Among Republicans, support for immigration rose from 39% last year to 66% today. Among independents, it's up to 80%. Among Democrats, support has held steady at around 85%. The number of Americans who want to reduce immigration dropped from 55% in 2024 to just 30% today. Support for some of Trump's harshest immigration policies are shrinking rapidly. Just 45% now support expanding the border wall, down 8 points from last year. Furthermore, only 38% support deporting undocumented immigrants, down from 47%. And 78% now say undocumented immigrants should have a pathway to citizenship. Nationwide, 62% of Americans disapprove of Trump's handling of immigration, including 81% of Democrats and 72% of independents. So again, if the border is quiet and Americans are more welcoming than ever, why is Trump spending $200 billion on this? Because power doesn't care what people think. This is about building a weapon. It's about creating a domestic enforcement machine with no limits and no oversight. It's about funneling billions to loyal contractors, handing out surveillance powers, and using fear as a substitute for governing. And Trump and Republicans paid for it by slashing $1 trillion from Medicaid and nearly $300 billion from food stamps. That means over 10 million Americans will lose health coverage, and 22 million families will see cuts at the grocery store. All to build a wall we don't need, lock up people who haven't committed crimes, and turn ICE into a federal hammer looking for nails. The question now is, will voters care? And will they hold Republicans accountable for pushing cruelty over common sense? Thank you for watching Graf's Grievances. Let me know what you think. Please consider supporting my channel via the Venmo link below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and join me tomorrow for more.